Hey guys.
Hi.
So today we are reviewing and kind of just talking about Beyonce's new country album, Cowboy Carter.
Not country album. It's a Beyonce album.
So fair.
There we go.
So fair, so fair. I love that. So what is some of our first thoughts on this Beyonce album?
First off, I mean, like, bam, like the historical context and the history that she packed into this album is like actually insane.
Yeah.
Like when you look at this, you're like, oh, like not someone, she took her time, like
Yeah.
really took. I mean, it was like what.
5 years?
4 years,
long
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
Very long time.
5, 4 years, like in the making to create this album, and like I don't know about y'all, but when I listen to artists that put that much work and that much investment into their album and their creativity and their process or whatever, I'm just like, my respect for them just goes through the roof. Like to me, I'm like,
Right.
that's art.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's not just music at this point, that's art.
I agree fully.
It was not what I was expecting. It is a very slow album. I gotta say, there's a lot of slow beats, and there's a few songs that I like that are like the introduction songs that are the quick, like 15, 30-second ones, you know?
I loved those
I
songs,
do.
the introductions.
I
It
really
felt like
do like
everything
it.
was
it felt like a movie. Like I watched it with my eyes closed, and those 15-second things really put me in that environment. It felt like I was watching a movie.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good, like, unexpected album because I was expecting, like, really, like, country and, like, Texas Hold'em and stuff, and we got more of, like, vulnerable and Beyonce vibes.
100%.
I don't know if y'all have seen Marini's Black Bottom, that movie, but like listening to the album, I felt like I was in that movie, and
Oh
it's
my
like I
gosh.
was
Wow.
sitting in the studio watching it being recorded.
Wow.
Because you've got like that whole like the whole like Willie Nelson, Dolly Parton like radio theme invested into the album.
I
So, like,
loved.
I just
love that.
It was so cool. I was just like, I feel like I'm watching her make this album.
I
Right
really loved that those artists and like the whole like radio side of it was shown, because it was like she has spoken that like this genre didn't want to hear her. She, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was not welcomed in the genre at all. And so to have these icons be like, everyone's gonna listen, like, here's the radio. Like, it was like putting it in that space of like, I don't know, like, there's so much history with country music and everything, and like kind of just reclaiming that space was like, it was really, really powerful. And I think we can even see that in a lot of like her album cover art, and like her announcement with like her sash saying like her grandmother's name that was like taken from her. So I think like the whole album is like like taking back, or not taking back, but just being a part of this genre or this community that like
Yeah.
is hers. She's like, it's so fair to, she's a Houston girl, you know what I mean? She has these roots, so it's really cool to like hear these vulnerable stories in this way. It was a really good album.
I think even like her picking to go through the radio format
Yeah.
specifically is very, very genius, because if you look back in history, for Black artists particularly, the radio was the one way they could gain commercial and mainstream success.
Yeah.
Why? Because there's no face involved. It's only ears. And unless you're like, oh, I can hear a Black voice per se, however you want to label it, that's the way, that was the avenue for Black artists to gain their success. So to go through that like route, I'd say, it's just like, I'm like,
I really love that she was also calling back to like
I just wanted to play the album, so
yeah, the album's playing. Like calling, like having a song from that time that was written and performed by a white artist, the Beatles, but having, it's a story about the civil rights movement and everything, and so like even taking that song and being like her singing it and having it being like played on the radio is like, it's just calling back to all of this history and like really putting a lot of like, I don't know, just like the correct lens on it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
yes.
yeah, McCartney. Oh, I'm so sorry. Go
It's
ahead.
okay, because the only other artist that I can think of recently that did that type of vibe with the radio is The Weeknd with his Dawn FM, and it was very well executed, except for Beyonce's, like, it just felt more, like, personal with her fans, instead
Yeah.
of just like, oh, let's just have this funky, poppy, you know, album. It was way more connected, and what did you think?
Yeah, it
I
was.
thought the album was, it's just so intentional and like meticulously
That's the
crafted.
word.
That's the, yeah, that's
That's
I
the
literally
word.
got goosebumps.
Yeah.
That's
Intentional.
Yes, it's
Intentional.
so intentional that even if there were some songs that I was like, I don't know if like sonically I liked it so much, it was like I'm enjoying this album so much as a whole that it like It doesn't matter if I
Yeah.
like the song or not.
It felt
It's
like
so good.
a movie, a musical, a poem. It was just, I don't know. It was like mixed medium, but just music. Like the way that there was so much textures. It was just. What was your favorite song?
I was just gonna.
There's too many. For now, I feel like Bodyguard is like my go-to, or
Oh, that's like the
or the
hit,
yeah yeah
yeah.
yeah.
I was about to say, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Was really good. Yeah, was really
I love the
good.
sampling of these boots are made for walking.
When that started playing, I was like,
oh,
okay.
the album
Yeah.
took a turn, and I
Yeah.
was so here for it. But I think Bodyguard, and there's a bunch of rumors going around how like Taylor Swift is back vocals for it and stuff like that.
Oh, I had not
I know
heard
she's
that.
not, but I like to think that she is. Because I'm just gonna leave it at that.
We can continue talking about favorite songs, but there was a lot of collabs on this album.
Yes. Oh yes.
What leads me to my
So-
favorite.
Yeah, there was so many little collabs. What was your
Ryan
favorite song?
Beatty, he co-wrote a lot of the songs on there, like Protector, Bodyguard, Two Hands to Heaven. if
Two
I'm
Hands to
correct.
Heaven is such a good song.
He covered a lot of them, and I was just like, what? Like, when he posted, I was like, this makes sense. Because, like, I love him as a musician, but when I tell you he's probably one of the most talented lyricists I've come across, like, if you just listen to his lyrics, I'm like, this boy knows how to write.
Yeah.
Like, he knows how to write music. And it's just, like, knowing that he had, like, his hand in there, I'm just like, yep, that makes sense. That's on brand.
And what about your song?
Ooh, I was gonna say yeah yeah because it's just so good. Like it is.
It's such a fun. It feels like she was like telling us, opening up, and like telling us about like writing about history, her family's history, her experience, and then it was like that point of like, and it's like now it's time to celebrate it. You know what I mean? It was just like a fun, you know. It was like one of the more faster songs. It's a really good album. And I just keep on saying that because it's like it genuinely is like one of those where I'm like, they will make a movie about this. You know what I mean?
And what do we think about her take on Jolene? Because she brought Dolly Parton into the album. She brought Miley Cyrus into the album. Both have covered that song beautifully.
I
But
loved it.
Beyonce's?
It was. I mean, it's. If I'm gonna pick one to listen to at the moment, I'm gonna pick Beyonce's.
There was, like, this funny, we can talk about this on the side, but I mean, that was a great time. I hope y'all listen to it. We'll go back to those now.
Bye, guys.
Bye.